back for Immortals in Counter Logic Gaming. We're going to Overpass, ladies and gentlemen. We just saw Immortals take the first map 16-8 over Counter Logic Gaming over on Inferno. I'm Stunna. This is Vendetta. Let's bring him into the picture. How's it going, Vendetta?
It's going pretty good. Pretty nice start to the night overall. Immortals kind of showing that Inferno is their map as of right now. They've got a pretty solid record on it.
Well, and you know, it was weird because we did see almost a flawless CLG pistol on that side, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just like the struggle bus ran him over.
Yeah, no, that was yeah, it was pretty brutal to watch there. You could just tell that, oh no, they're not gonna have a great buy this round, and that was pretty much the story every single time they got around to a buy. So unfortunate for them. Though that said, they're going into Overpass. I think that's the more comfortable map for them than what Inferno was.
Well, we're going to go ahead and jump right into a segment here with Eric de Beer Stromberg, the mother of all analysts. We've got Immortals and Overpass.
Thank you, guys. Welcome back to another Stromberg Strategies. We're going to take a look at Immortals on Overpass. They're going to have a nice, complex, well-thought-out strat, which I like to show you guys right here. As you can see, Steel, Lucas, they're starting off at default. They're holding for pushes. FNX in his usual spot. He'll hang around the connector area, you know, having a beer. Who knows what he's doing over there. Lucas watching for pushes, trying to get information. Bolts on the side, you know, he's spamming. He's like, hey, guys, look at me. Spamming, just holding for pushes. As you can see, pretty safe default. They're waiting timeout. 44 seconds in a round. Hen 1, look, he's just walking. Why does this look so easy? How come his back is turned? Why does Henny get the easy kill? FNX coming up as well. Look at Team Rush. They're kind of confused what is going on right now. 2 easy kills from Immortals. Look at this. Open bomb site. No one's here except for Akis, who's by the bank. Too late to help out or to even delay the bomb plant. FNX plant. Easy kill right here. How does this work? Why is this so easy? Well, I think if we take a look at from the B bomb site, what just happened right here is that Immortals tosses a B fake. As you see, Rush is kind of pushed up towards water. And in this meta, on this map, a lot of teams on CT are going to be taking over water side. So when they fake the B, they don't send any people through water. They don't know how many people come through Monster. All they can see are smokes, flashes, Molotovs. So we kind of think it's a B rush. But that instant, that hesitation when they're calling the B rush, maybe the A guys hesitate a little bit, maybe they push through or they fall back. That's where Hen 1 and FNX capitalize on this and split the team's defense, and were able to take the round. Very nice, very well thought out by Team Immortals, and it's pretty amazing how just a little hesitance can disrupt the whole team, and good job by them. Back to you guys.
Thank you to Bears. I actually, I think I appreciate you the most, and then maybe you're somewhere second, but...
Yeah. Casters, not so much.
That's just about how it is. Now, listen, we're going into the Overpass with these two teams, and I want to say that Immortals might have the slight upper hand here.
And I think pound for pound, if you want to, you know, set them next to each other and basically debate who's the better player individually, I think, yeah, Immortals are going to get that edge. But honestly, they haven't been playing too well of Immortals on Overpass as of late. If you look at it, they've had some wonky results throughout Pro League, even though they've ended up with W's on it. You know, winning 16-13 versus Rush isn't necessarily what you want to do as Immortals. Well, I mean, it's good that you get a W, right? But
sounds good to me.
Yeah. But outside of that, you know, it hasn't been any showcasing of domination from them on that side. So for CLG, obviously they have to feel confident picking that map going into it, and they've been playing pretty decently on it as of late as well. And I think it's one of those maps that allows you to actually get a lot of done just by playing a very structured set of Counter-Strike, like similar to what we saw the Bears actually showcase from Immortals on their T side. You know, it's a very slow passive default. You know, that's something that CLG can do as well. They don't necessarily have to find an opening before they can actually try to work for map control.
How many people in chat do you think are telling us to stop talking right now?
Right about it. Well, it depends on how many people are watching, right?
Probably all of them, but it is that time for us to stop talking. Throw it over to the commentators. Blue and Dazed. What's up, dudes?
Hey, how's it going? We're ready to jump into the second map now. It's going to be over on, well, Overpass. Again, CLG taking on Immortals now in past. This is in the past, I should say. This was actually a really dominant map for CLG. One they're even able to like take maps off like big European teams. But granted, this was when the roster was like almost completely different, so that may not hold to be the case anymore. For the Immortals, tends to actually be a bit of a weird map for them. Like I said, it's somewhat hit or miss in some respects. So you kind of have to to watch out, but overall still a good map for them. And with the way that they performed in that last one, well, CLG are definitely going to need to come in with some big improvements, I would say.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is going to be on Immortals, though. They didn't really get punished for, you know, some of the plays that I think CLG could have punished them for. You know, like overpeaking or things like that, and kind of crush CLG that game. But Overpass to me is actually a lot easier to be aggro on CT. It's a lot easier to push on. You know, generally speaking, you'll probably see a lot of COG take map control and then maybe group up towards a site. And then if you push that opposite site where they're not grouped up on, all of a sudden you send that extra guy over, you have a pretty quick flank, things like that. So we'll see if that's going to work for Immortals or not on their CT side. Coming on to the T side, though, we've seen Henny have a lot of big games. FNX is a very, very solid Overpass player. So I definitely favor Immortals here. Having said that, CLG, you know, we'll see if they can bounce back from a pretty poor Inferno performance.
Yeah, I'm getting right into it here. CLG starting off on the CT side. This is where they performed actually quite well before, but unfortunately we're just unable to carry through since they already had such a bad deficit from coming off of their T side. Now we have to see if the Immortals actually will bring a little bit of a stronger T side this time around. And starting things right off, they're pushing their way through the bathrooms up towards the A-bomb site. And Lucas already spotting that jump up there, but the same as true for Cutler and spotting out Lucas and these other two. Lucas, though, still able to punish FNS for wide peeking onto the right side of the dice box there, and Cutler just runs away. Over here to the bank, we're hold a little bit of a better angle, still waiting for his teammate to come back up, and meanwhile down on the B-bomb site, well, Kusta just fragging out 1, 2, possibly 3 kills. The A hit's been completely stopped. Now it's just on Henny with the bomb here. He's trying to wrap around, but a lot of time being wasted by Kusta currently, so even if he does go down here, he'll have that team support when he does fully peek back out. There's almost no way that Henny's going to be able to clutch this one out, and indeed, that'll be the case. Ethan puts him down, and CLG went out the pistol.
Very, very well played by Kusa. Not just getting those initial 2 frags, but also just staying alive for as long as he did against Henny. You see, he didn't overpeak. Had he overpeaked and Henny killed him right away, he could have got his USP, he could have got the bomb down, and he could have very easily won that round. So Kusa just stays alive, and all of a sudden he makes it almost impossible.
And so now in the second round, we see that usual force-up coming in from the T's here. As they did not get the bomb plant, we're not going to see anything crazy besides just those pistols and the armor that would follow up from behind it. A few flashbangs coming in, but again, that's all you really see on those Immortals players. Everybody else pushing quickly through short A to try and take a little bit of control here. Cutler will be jumping up onto that site again. I don't believe Steel has spotted him at this point. But, well, Cutler is certainly going to spot some of these players moving in, as it's going to be a pretty big explosion. He spotted the long play. Lucas actually hits a nice first shot and a good connection and a dink to Cutler, with Bolts finishing it off. So immediately they clear out the A-bomb site. It's going to cause a quick rotation, obviously, from CLG, but the problem is now they're working against a 3-on-5. They don't really have the positioning to play themselves back up into it just yet, so it's going to actually be pretty rough here, and there's a large possibility that they'll get ecoed again, just like how they started off the last map here, trying to push themselves up past the dumpster steps, and same for the bank, but they were mollied out on both avenues. Now Henny playing it up close, closes out one more, Bolts finds a second, there's one more to go, and it's Ricky trying to hold a 1v5 now, even just being tagged through the wall. I mean, there's no way he's going to win this, so Immortals get the eco for a second map in a row, and they'll bring this to a 1-1 scoreline as Ricky just on a desperate mission to run away and save this UMP. He's almost gotten away with it, down to 15 HP though. He's going to have to re-challenge Bolts in a second, and Bolts will indeed take him down, so no one stays alive there.
Yeah, and just more of the same, pretty much exactly what happened last map, except this time it's on the T side and not the CT side. So CLG, although they're winning this pistol round, and you think, you know, maybe they're gonna compete, you know, essentially better than they did on Inferno, just can't string together these anti-ecos.
Yeah, so now CLG will have to go onto a force by themselves here and hope that they can repeat the same feat that the Immortals just pulled off against them. They have a nice little stack. Unfortunately, it led them right into an HE grenades. They both took relatively high amounts of damage, but still, FNS scraps the first frag. Not before being brought down to 13 HP, however, so be a little bit cautious in that. That's where we'll see Henny capitalize upon it. Catching the trade, bringing this back down to a 4v4, and still having to deal with Cutler in a moment. But for right now, he is in the clear, as the rest of his teammates now moving in. Actually, Lucas getting himself into a great spot. Kusa not even checking towards Party there.
Yeah.
And just loses himself. So now Cutler is also going to try to sneak back up, but Lucas is waiting for this one. Spray's a bit messy though, so Cutler is able to get the kill, but thankfully he does have Steel waiting behind him, available for the quick trade up there. That's Immortals with full control, finally have the connector and the lead up towards short A here. And it is looking like they're going to start this slow push up towards the site again. There will be a flank working against them from Ricky. And this, in all reality, would be CLG's only hope of stopping Immortals from successfully pulling off not only this eco, but the runaway of it as well. He's got to move quickly, though, as Ethan's already been spotted. He took the battle out with just his P250, and in a moment, he's going to be completely overwhelmed. Immortals just hopping right up there. Ethan decides not to take this battle, falling back further into the bank and playing this further in for a retake here now. As Ricky swings out, he's spotted. However, Bolts is still not able to compensate upon it. Steel and Henny do pick up the last 2 kills, though, and the round goes to the Immortals, which solidifies their early lead here and puts CLG onto another eco.
That's one of the issues that you see is when you flank B and you go that long route all the way over to Fountain. A lot of the time, you're hitting the site. They're hitting the site, and the flank is just taking so long to develop, like we just saw with Ricky, that it doesn't really produce into anything besides a 1-for-1. And especially because they, you know, whenever you're hitting A, you're worried about the connector flank as well. So that's why you see that smoke come down before he plants. That's why the flank didn't really, you know, do anything. So it's one of those things where sometimes flanking B, it can win you the round, but it can actually lose you the round too. You think, oh, this is going great. We have all this position. We know exactly where they're going, maybe. But then they go down to blue or something, right? And things like that develop because of that flank.
Well, now you got Bolts hopping back in. He already blew the door open. Digs down to 13 HP, but he gets the kill. FNX also picking up 1, as will Henny lurking back over here. Ricky, well, it takes a minute to spread over him, but he's got the Zeus in hand. Really wanted to kill with it, but just not going to happen this time around. It's a clean sweep up from the Immortals players, and they do indeed get that 3-1 as we finally head into our first gun round.
Yeah, because it's so easy to switch onto sites. It's a little like, Overpass is a lot, or unlike other maps, right? Where on Overpass, we just saw Ricky flank B like that. If you flank, say, long A on Dust 2, and you actually get a flank off and nobody's watching it, like, it's almost always going to succeed. You know, because unless you don't catch them in middle and they're going through B tunnels and they already went mid to B, like, they're generally going to kill people on catwalk or kill people top middle or whatever. But Overpass is just much different, as we are just seeing fast B rush by Immortals, instant entries onto B. Ethan just sitting into heaven, doesn't even connect on that spam. But nice shot onto Henny.
On the repeat, he picks up the kill, and he still has the damage he did earlier to Bolts to account for as well. So 3v4, certainly not a lost cause for CLG just yet. They're giving Immortals a lot of time to set up into these post plants, and now Ethan is going to get smoked back out of his heaven position. That won't matter, though, as they're just leaping past it into the pit to take control here. And now it's a mission to actually spot out.
I wouldn't go for this. I don't think they should. Gusta has an op. They're already committed, though.
They don't even really know where they're positioned at either, so Ethan's going to have to swing back in. Doesn't even get an additional kill here. He did bring one of them down very low, but they're just hunting at this point. Cutler down at 6 as he takes down FNX, but the time is pretty much already gone away.
I don't understand why you go for that in that situation. You know, we just, like, were they not watching SK when they were playing versus Cloud9? And SK was on Inferno, and it was looking terrible for their CT side. You know, and they just kept saving guns, and they saved an op, like, each and every time, and it ended up okay, right? Or was it Cash that occurred on?
No, it was the first map, I think.
I think it was both maps. SK usually saves if they know they're not going to win a round. And you lose guns. You lose guns. You should have had 3 guns this round, a couple guys on a CZ half armor or something like that if you wanted to save for the next round, and had a great chance to win this round and end up, you know, being 4-2. And even if you lose it, you know, before, you know, still be able to buy the next round.
So CLG, they do have the op to play with this time, sitting in
so
Kusta.
Luckily, Kusta did save that. But imagine if you had 2 M4s backing this up off that pick, right? You're hugely favored.
Everybody else, though, on this one is still just going to be working with Deagles, CZs, and P250s, whereas the Immortals work with AKs, and still Bolts on a Mac 10 from like 4 rounds ago as well. So he's been working with that for a while, and hey, it's still working out as he picks up frags. Kusta with the second. He does go down immediately afterwards, though, and Bolts almost gets himself a 3rd with that Mac 10. Finally, he's eliminated by Ethan there. Ethan, in the meanwhile, does pick himself up the op to play with from Heaven still, so this goes to a 2v3. Very good potential for CLG to actually upset here on this round, but Immortals are getting aggressive now, and that positioning working out allows Lucas to re-even out the odds, pick up the kill into Ricky, and promptly molly it back off to prevent any more pressure from working its way. Now, for these next couple seconds, you can just pay attention to the pit. FNX even grabbing down the op for a second time now as he takes out Ethan. Cutler tries to lurk back in for Monster, but it's spotted out by FNX, and Immortals close out on the round once more.
Yeah, and they don't save the guns, and they take a huge risk, right, where they basically don't even have anybody on B that round. Bolts just rushes at B, gets great positioning, they end up getting the bomb down and whatnot. And even though it was a 3v2, the positioning was just too strong from Immortals.
So CLG are going to call for a little bit of an earlier pause this time. I think they waited until like 10-2 on the last map before they did decide to actually go for the call, and at this time it's happening a lot earlier on. As there's still plenty of time to recover this. 5-1. It is looking grim a little bit early on here. But if they can recover now off of this pause, then there'll be plenty of time to bring the scoreline back.
And I mean, you gotta just, you gotta play the odds in those situations. If CLG saves, they probably take that round, right? Kusta gets that pick, they still have a B hold. Bolt still has that Mac 10. He's rushing B no matter what, right? So you have an M4 there. It's a pretty easy kill. Just gotta save your guns. You gotta play the odds in those situations, and it's something that teams need to look at a team like SK or a team like Astralis and whatnot, because that's not a difficult thing, to be able to perform well out. Knowing when not to save, right? It's like pretty basic, Yeah.
So now
it's not rocket science, Blue. Every team should be able to recognize when you should save.
It has brought CLG into a double op setup for the 7th round now, as Ricky and Kusta were picking them up. 3 M4s beyond that, and quite a heavy stack inside of this connector, actually. But it's going to be challenged by 2 of their own players from the Immortals side. Steel leads the charge. Quick first headshot goes for the second, traded out by FNS, but Lucas trades it back, taking down FNS, giving them a 4v3 advantage to play off of. Now, they need to be cautious if they go for short A, as you do have Kusta playing out there, but it's actually going to be short-lived. Doesn't spot anyone immediately going back up on top, so he's going to fall back to the site instead. And that gives pretty much full map control to the Immortals, with the exception of the sites. They can set up for whatever they want to now. They won't have to worry about CLG getting in their way. And it doesn't look like they're pretty much just going to go straight forward into B again, which means Ethan is going to find himself in a rough patch. He even reveals himself a little bit more earlier than he needed to. Ricky catches a kill against Lucas further up as he reps back down into heaven over here, but Ethan, the only man on the site, did go down. Smoke's in the way, so Ricky's got to take a few pot shots, hope he can connect. Nothing sitting right now, though. He did spot the guy in construction, so Henny's just going to fall back for right now. But damage going back onto Ricky. He's at 48. It's 2 ops left remaining. There's not really any hope for this one, and we can already see Kusta going back up to the A site, so it's going to be called a save.
Good, he should save. He might be calling it a little bit too early to save. I think in this situation, what you do is you just kind of stay there. You just see if they just give you a couple picks. Obviously, there's a very low chance at that. And then if you can get 2 kills, then you can go for it in the 2v1, right? But even if you get 1 kill, you still shouldn't go for it in the 2v2. You have no smoke or anything like that. You're probably just going to toss away those ops and get killed. But yes, good job recognizing, improving on those mistakes, CLG. Get that save. Anytime you have a double op setup, you can easily win this round.
Yeah, so off of that one, it's going to be looking actually pretty similar to the last time an op was saved here. And it's basically going to be... Actually, no, they decide to force into it this time, which is not going to be too bad at all. They get, everybody has M4s, and for the most part, everybody except for FNS is going to have semi-decent utility to play with, too. So it turns itself into actually a pretty decent fire round for CLG. And over on the Immortals' is camp, still working with the 5 AKs, of course, building up their own money as they've been on a bit of a streak here. CLG is suffering from the same fate as that last map, but they went out the pistol and just haven't been able to convert anything else since then. Ricky, though, first up to bat this time, finds his kill, but Lucas fast on the trade as well. There's a little bit of a tiny peek over towards short A, takes down Cutler. Kusta will be here to contest it, but not actively. He's primarily actually just falling back again from the bathrooms to retreat to the site, and won't actually move out to hunt.
Yeah, he can't really stay there because they have no eyes on connector. So if he stays there and somebody comes connector, he's just going to die. Ethan, massive damage versus Steel. Gets that kill. Nice hold by him.
And now FNX also trying to lurk back up here to make sure that none of the CTs moved in from water in the meantime to take control over here. Kusta's still waiting for within the bathrooms. Wants to put a stop to a fast A push. The problem is now A long was left exposed. And even though he did decent damage to him, FNX goes down to Henny. FNX catches Kusta before he can successfully get back behind that nice box over there. Ricky, the last hope for the defensive A, connects onto a shot. Actually, no, doesn't connect onto a shot. Excuse me. That's the fallback as he's now at 9 HP. Ethan as well, pretty low here, 53. So they're going to have to weigh out their odds here and see if they even really have a hope of getting back in. They're already at the site, so it is looking like they'll go for it. And Ricky just picked up the kill, as did Ethan onto Henny. Now the pressure's on for Lucas as he's down to a 1v2 here. They're not going to check to the bathrooms just yet. He's got a Molotov to try and bounce back off here and get itself on top of the bomb, which it goes a little bit to the right of it, but I think it's going to spread over. And with the elimination of Ethan, in theory, unless he messes up here, this could be an easy clutch back out. He's just going to dodge one more up shot from Ricky, tags him through the wall. He's down at 20 HP now, and Ricky's going on the other side. Time is gone, so the round itself is going to go over into the hands of the Immortals, but Ricky gets the satisfaction of still killing his remaining opponent while he runs away with the up.
Yeah, I'm wondering where that molly landed. I was really hoping we could have got a shot of that. But yeah, well played in that 2v1. Let's see. Oh, is it not going to show it?
Just wanted to see the kills. What did it bounce off of actually?
I don't know. That's why I wanted to see a better angle of it.
I was trying to think what was up that.
You know
high.
what? We got DJ here. He's a pro, but he's working with Cody right now, and I mean, Heather isn't here.
It's just the
inexperience,
yeah,
really.
It's the intern doing the work there.
Yeah, it's the intern.
Yeah.
And DJ's over there, and he's making the intern do everything.
First kills get traded out 1-1 with FNX finding Finesse. It's actually very confusing. We also see Steel going down there too. And now Ethan, again, always been a close-up battle over here on Monster. This time he's only got an SMG to play with it, however. Has a little bit of support from the backside, but it's brutal. Gets tagged twice as he tries to push up towards it. And not only do they lose Ethan, but Kusta follows up pretty shortly afterwards here too. Cutler is alive, still somewhere down on the site. And he's got a scout in hand, tagging a few players, quite a bit actually. Two of them getting hit for about half HP. That's Lucas and Henny, although I believe Lucas was hit by a nade as well. So now CLG really just trying to see if they have any hope of getting back in here. The ops on the hands of Ricky, that's definitely going to be a save from him. Cutler's buy is not as important, so he may try to go for exits, but that would be it. And, well, Cutler doesn't last very long anyway.
Yeah, Immortals is just like... When did CLG get back from Starwater?
2 days ago, I would think.
2 days ago?
Usually Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always have post-LAN kind of like noobness. Whenever I would go to a LAN, I would just suck on the internet for the next like 2 days. I'll be honest, because the game's a lot different in North America, at least, because you know everybody plays with like 50 ping generally. Actually, is everybody in COG in their house?
I think so.
Because Immortals' house is West Coast, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, they should play. What are their pings? Let's hold tab real quick. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is basically like playing on. Look at Immortals ping. That is insane. That is amazing. That's EU ping right there.
It's EU
Blue.
ping. That is literally LAN ping.
No,
for 3 other
seriously,
players.
that's so much fun to play with. It really does play exactly like LAN. Like, it's great.
Got that.
That's why Immortals is owning, because they're honestly, ever since they got FNX, they're way better on LAN than they are on LAN. Before FNX, they were actually better online. A little bit, I think.
Got that great routing to the LA ESCA servers.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, into the next round now. Full buy for both teams. And CLG, a little bit more of a heavier stack directly on the B site. Normally they've had a guy playing around in heaven. This time, though, all three are actually down in the site itself. And a lot of them playing up close to Monster, too, because Ethan keeps losing those battles where he only trades 1 kill, and then they just lose out on everybody else after they get control of the tracks. But it's not looking like we're even going to see anything remotely close to a B play this time around. In fact, they're all pushing very quickly through A-Long. Problematic with this will be, however, they don't check the left side as Cutler is going to be waiting out there. And they don't check it first up, but he goes aggressively into the kill. Still transfers the Sprite, despite being spotted out there. Down at 12 HP after he gets that one, the flashbang. And he walks into the spray after it was smoked out. So a 2-for-1 startup here. FNX going to try to bring it back a little bit, but he's struggling as well. Kusta picks up the kill into FNX, and now all of a sudden it's a 2v4 in the favor of CLG. They're going to look to do something a bit more creative here with the boost up, but no one will be spotted from it. For the most part, they are stacked on that right side. Kusta moves into it, and Henny gets a second on Ricky. Now we're back down even again to a 2v2. The only thing that CLG has going for them is the fact that the bomb is down on the A site, so they'll have to recommit eventually here, but I don't know if they fully realize that, because Ethan, no, he should see
right on the screen.
Yeah. I thought it was behind the dice box.
Why are they fighting, Blue?
I don't know.
COG is like COG's worst enemy at times. You know?
Yeah.
It's like not only are they playing against the other team, but sometimes they're playing against themselves.
Aren't we all?
It's very poetic of you.
Thank you. Well, FNS working on this flank, though. This does work out for him. However, Bolts trades onto Ethan. So this goes down to a 1v1. Time is limited, but FNS is so far away that Bolts should be able to get this bomb onto the ground and get his own gun out in time to be able to fight out against the last man alive for CLG here. FNS just going to go for it. Bolts knows where he is, though. He's not being quiet about it, and it's an easy sneak out from Bolts to clutch it. Immortals recover from a 2v4 deficit and win out, now sending themselves up 9-1.
Yeah, just such a poor decision to actually fight a long A there and just give up those kills for no reason. Yeah, bomb down on your side of the bomb site. Just no reason to fight there. Who's your favorite player to watch, Blue? I feel like Kusta's your favorite player to watch.
I like Kusta. When he's like, I like this Kusta.
Yeah.
I didn't like the post-liquid Kusta.
No.
That wasn't a fun Kusta.
No, that was not a good Kusta.
Yeah, Kusta's really exciting to watch when he gets aggressive.
Who else?
They put me on the spot. Like in this match or just in general?
No, just in general.
Stewie's really fun to watch, specifically on Cash because of those like A-main pushes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really exciting. Those are like just two I can think of off the top of my head in NA.
I like watching Cold the most. Just because I like to learn a lot. I like players that I learn a lot from. I learn a lot from Automatic actually too, which is funny because he was like one of my first Netcode Premium members back in the day. Yeah,
that's a throwback right there.
Like, literally, he was like 13. He was like one of my first Netcode Premium members.
So now we've got Immortals trying to go for a monster push here, but actually good timing on the peak from, I believe it was FNS. Gets himself some decent damage on the Henny early on here, bringing him down to about half HP. And is going to hold back the overall push for right now. The push itself, though, isn't coming in towards B. It's another really fake just being thrown over onto the site. They're actually executing over here towards A, and it's a pretty direct play, too. Cutler mollied out from that position, gets close to a kill, but no dice. This time around, Lucas and FNX both clean up the A defenders, and now a 5v2. They've rotated back up. I think FNX... Oh, he spotted Kusta, but Kusta actually still gets the kill. So, CLG escaped with at least one more victory there. And another one. There's Kusta again, now finding Lucas. So 2v3, there may be hope yet. Still going to be rough to actually get back into this site. At the moment, it's kind of just been that looser play from Immortals that's given to them. But Steel hugging this wall. He'll have to check behind him in a moment, as well they push back out. Gets the first kill there. And FNS. Oh, FNS. Thinking it was going to be easy to get that kill against Steel, but Bolts puts a stop to it and bails his own teammate out.
Yeah, I mean, the Immortals are just crushing CLG. I really thought this was going to be a much closer game on both maps, but Immortal just looking just leaps ahead of CLG. Now CLG on another bye. They're feeling the pressure. They're like, we really just can't give them more rounds. Let's just buy up no matter what. Kusa gets the op, nothing else. Pretty poor buy from them, but they do have that op.
So now you've got Henny, along with their players trying to do a sort of pinch around the connector over here, along with taking that water control. Serves itself as a dual purpose, and FNX is not even afraid to just go for a dry peek in construction, and even gets the kill so easily. Kusta not able to contest it very well. In fact, doesn't even do a single point of damage to his opponent there. Already a 5v4 advantage once more for the Immortals here on the 12th round on the half. They still hold some presence in the connector over on that CT side. I believe it's FNS trying to peek into it. Did just give himself away, however, with peek against Henny. Now FNX trying to push back in. Even more damage being done. They almost took down Ethan there. Lucas did follow through and actually find FNS from inside of the connector, so they've dispatched of him. Cutler's got to hope he can do some work here with the CZ up close, and oh no, doesn't get anything done at all. Lucas and Bolts just dispatch of two more. Nice shot from Ethan, but it's a small victory as the round itself is still going to go into Immortals' hands in a moment here. Maybe not. Hold on. Ethan getting himself a second, but does get greedy there on the repeak, and finally Henny is going to put a stop to it.
11-1 rule.
Yeah, it's not looking good for CLG, to say the least.
To put it lightly.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a lot of routes.
I mean, the ping disadvantage is just too much over them. Let's be real. How can you compete?
It's like a 300% difference, Steve.
Yeah. Your math
insane.
skills are ridiculous with it.
Thanks. So, we've got CLG back onto another, again, pretty much everybody buying into as much as they can afford here, which is good for some players, you know, getting a couple SMGs in here, but for most it is just going to be upgraded pistols. Kusa starts off with a 1 kill. Ethan trying to follow it through, does pick up the second frag over there. So puts us into a 3v2 situation, and Cutler up close with an SMG, maybe could pick up a kill, but not going to happen this time. Lucas knocking out Cutler. They do have a flank from FNS, but this is...
He only has an MP9.
And this is not only that, but it's going to take a few seconds for him to actually get into a good position, and he'll possibly be counterflanked by Steel.
Yep, Steel hears him.
So FNS will have to hope the timing on this works in his favor as he moves in, taking down Henny. Gets that kill at the very least, but now Steel's going to come in from his backside. And FNS is not even paying close attention to that at all, so it's an easy kill for Steel to grab. Brings us back down to a 2v2, however. Still very much around where CLG could escape with it. You just need to see what Ethan can do to help out with just this P250. Most of the pressure is going to be on Kusta here, and he gets the 1 kill. 1 more to go, and it's against Lucas, smoked and mullied off, but that does leave a little bit of room for him to actually peek back in. Full 10-second defuse, but he's not peeking into it at all right now, so Kusta's just going to get away with this, and there you go. A second round finally up on the board for CLG.
Kusta locks it. So CLG winning the round that you don't really expect them to win, but they catch bolts off guard. They're all in really good positions. Cutler even should have gotten that kill. So yeah, they're back on the board, 11-2. I think that was 11 rounds lost in a row, right?
Yep.
They won pistol, lost 11 in a row until they just broke that streak.
And obviously Immortals will still have plenty of cash flow, I imagine, to buy not only into this round, but probably the last round as well. They do have Ethan, and I think Kusta as well, posted up close here. Ethan tries to make a play, but caught up with the mollies and those flashbangs is really going to mess with him. He gets knocked out by Lucas there. Ricky got tagged elsewhere on the map. He's now down at 43 HP. Lucas just ready to make this push happen now as everybody on CLG gives up on this short A play and falls back. Ricky, they finish the job on him as Henny makes his push in through construction. That's full B control. The bomb wasn't even committed here at this point, so it is going to take a few seconds for them to transfer it over to the site. But I don't imagine that Immortals are worried too much about that because now they're back in control. FNX just going right up into the face of CT main there, takes out FNS, and there's really no risk at this point as they brought it down to a 5v2. And both of the CLG players probably already posturing up for a save. As they're going to get reset here, the money's probably going to be pretty bad for the last round.
Yeah, not too great. Be able to get an op, though. Maybe even 2 if they want a glass cannon, depending on if they save.
So the first player trying to get dropped is going to be Kusta, but he lines up himself up a nice headshot there against FNX.
Yeah, so far this half, I mean, Immortals hasn't even really had to do anything like group up, do some type of execute or anything. They just, a lot of challenging of CLG across the map. I mean, almost every single duel. They haven't really had to, you know, go into like their bag of tricks, right? Yeah. Everything's pretty just straightforward, kind of spreading out, getting these kills. Oh, hey, you lost your duel here, well, we won these 2 duels over here. Just bring bong, bring the bomb, swing it over here.
All right. So CLG do get the buy for this next round going, but I think they dropped an M4, not an op. Yeah, they just ended up dropping
New company
M4s.
policy at ESL, mandatory drug testing. Breaking news, 80% of the staff quits.
Okay. That's a large assumption, but moving back into the match now. The CLG is going to look to hold off here. First player test is going to be Cutler. Gets the first kill, swings into a second against Steel. Another one possibly, but he's also going to get a little bit greedy upon this one. So that's where he finally goes down on the peak against Henny. He picks up the shot. Even he got lit though, down to 40 HP, so not bad connections at all. Henny now going to be looking for this player over here behind the green dumpster. Definitely sees him moving around, but it's hard to hit that shot when he's being as mobile as he is. Finally takes the bait on it, but missing it entirely. And for the most part, CLG have a pretty strong hold here up on the A site. But look at Bolts. He's all the way up past the APC. Thankfully, gets spotted by FNS right before he was going to creep up towards Bank there. But had he been allowed to go that far, that could have been pretty bad. There's Henny, though, hitting a second shot right now. He's the only thing recovering the Immortals in this round so far. We need to see FNX chime in for a little bit more entry power on that AK, as they're definitely committing themselves to this hit. And, oh, run boost, possibly? Let's see if this works out here now. As they're going to go for it, does not get the velocity that they were hoping for. FNS takes, or FNX. Henny trades for 1, and then Ricky finishes it off with a kill onto Henny. So, similar scoreline to what we saw back on our last map there. In fact, it's the same exact scoreline, 12-3 in the favor of the Immortals. We'll see if CLG have anything special prep for their T side when we come back from the break in just a minute here.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
And we're back again, folks, here on Overpass to finish up our first match of the evening. It is once again the Immortals that dominate the first half. 12-3 is the overall scoreline coming off of their T side. And now we have to see if they'll be able to hold it strong on the CT side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit taken back, a bit shocked, even that CLG is putting up this kind of performance. Though I mean, they've played very, very well at SLTV. They've been pretty solid this season, and just crushed, just absolutely crushed.
Yep. It's been a rough road here for them today. I mean, again, the real problem is like in terms of like individual performances. Besides Kusta, no one's really kind of stepped up to the plate a little bit here. We've seen Ethan come alive in a few of those rounds defending towards Monster, but it was generally like only 1 or 2 kills he was getting, and then everybody else at the B site just falls flat.
There was just one player does his job, 2 others don't.
Yeah.
Right. It's like 1 step forward during the round, 2 steps back. And Immortals just, you know, they might win the gun battle. Cutler might win a gun battle at his spot, and then maybe FNS or Ricky or whatever loses theirs at their spot, and then the domino effect falls, and it's a 2v2 retake and whatnot. And it all stems, you know, at the end of the day, just losing that second round. They just lose that second round, and it just snowballs from there, it seems.
Yep, ecoed and to the pistol only accounts to be 1/3 of their round.
This is good though. They're already pushing towards long A. Immortals has no idea. This is just a 5-man rush.
Too. Bolts is the only one there to defend it. Everybody else is watching for like a connector player, short A style. Bolts isn't even on the site actually, so they're going to
full retake.
Right,
and they think it's B.
What?
Oh, okay. Now they realize it.
Now they realize it. That was just a miscomm, probably. So they're swinging back up now towards the site to retake it, and Immortals are not wasting any time with this one at all. They're going to have to be careful because they've already got players waiting in the bathroom, and probably a few other spots they're not expecting as well. There's Kusta with the flag. Cutler sinks the 3rd kill. Ricky as well with the 4th. Immortals aren't getting anything done here. CLG walk onto the site and walk into 4 easy kills. Now it's just Bolts trying to pull up a 1v5. There's one. That's the start of a very long road, however, and I don't know if he's going to be able to accomplish anything else here. He's got a kit, but not really, you know, rolling with anything else that's worth saving. So hoping he can pick up a few more players, but CLG have already evacuated the site, and Ethan's going to finish off the job. CLG certainly not shy to winning out pistols. I believe they go 3 for 4 on tonight's pistol victories, but now they have to avoid getting ecoed again.
Yep. And what you want to do if you're Immortals there is, well, it really, really screwed them up because they thought it was B and they went down connector towards B. If they would have immediately went towards A, they probably would have caught those players pushing towards bathroom, and then it could have been a completely different round. And what they want to do is they want to let their players flank, just hold in CT spawn, don't even do anything, just hold. And then when they flank, that's when you start pinching.
Got CLG again just going right for the hit. They're a little bit quiet obviously when they creep up towards Monster, but look at him walking right in. The Toxic guy doesn't even spot them, and when he does, well, he goes down pretty quickly. Bolts trying to turn it around a little bit. He does get a 2nd kill there, but Bolts himself almost picked up the 2nd on his own. He just ran out of ammo at the last moment, so Ricky barely survives it. FNS swinging in, stops Henny from doing any work back over there by construction. Now FNX with the deagle. He's got 1. He can get that 2nd one there. 1 more to go, and keep in mind the bomb wasn't even planted yet, so FNX not really working against the timer at this point. He can take this nice and easy. Unfortunately, he does only have 26 HP, so he's got to be very careful about the way he plays this out. But if he can just 1-tap FNS, and he can also get very close to him right here, but chooses not to. Does not want to play up that close to him just yet. The Molly forces him out. He knows where he is now. Low on ammo there, though, and forced to make a play. FNS is going to finish it off with the AK, and it gives CLG the round.
Very, very close. Ends up in a 1v1. As soon as FNX had that dig, I got scared for CLG. This guy's dig is ridiculous.
He almost had it. Should have just stuck with the deagle. Might have done better there. But it's looking like Immortals now have to go on to the full save here. So
Coach Blue.
What?
Coach Blue.
I guess, yeah. Just saying. P250s for everybody on the Immortals there now. FNX and Steel The only ones investing up into P250s.
The thing about those situations is you never know what his teammates are saying, right? Maybe one of his teammates is saying he's low. Also, you know, having the ump there, if he might expect you to have the deagle, and then a lot of the time he didn't really do it, but if you wide swing like that with the ump, he's holding like a close angle, you just go way past his crosshair, right?
Yeah.
Things like that could happen. It's pretty situational. I don't know. You don't really know what's going on. Like his teammate could be saying he's low and just be mistaken too.
So Steel does spot out the short A push. I think he only saw 1 or 2 players though, so might not be calling for the full rotation just yet. He will now though after he spots that Dinks one. That's Kusta down at 12. Unfortunately misses the Q on the Ethan swing, and then also Cutler picking off bolts too. Now they're down to 2. Ethan does get a little bit crazy there, so Lucas will be able to finally punish him out there and take him down, but I'm not really sure he's going to actually try to... No, he's still sticking around here, trying to see if he can pick up 1 or 2 more. Hunting for that head, but jumps into his own death as Ricky finishes off that player. Well, Henny recovers the ump, but in a moment, in sneaking back up, Ricky's going to finish the job once more. Gets his second kill in the round. CLG will be up to 6 here as we get into the first gun round.
So Henny getting that up. Let's see. Kusta actually keeping the Mac 10. Even though they're down 12-6, trying to be pretty economical about it. I mean, this isn't out of the realm of possibility that CLG comes back 12-6 on T-side at Overpass. Just really got to play that economy game and win the important rounds, and you're going to be right there.
Absolutely, and early on in the round, CLG just not really taking any control at all, with the exception of pushing Ricky up towards Monster over there. Everybody else hanging back in that what is basically just a 2-2-1 split.
Let's look at Immortals setup, though, over in the bathrooms. No, I think it's a retake B. Yeah, so it's a retake B, 2 players at Graffiti. You're going to have a very strong A rotate.
And those A players are pushed up right to the edge of the bathrooms out of the site, so they're actually going to play for a contest here now. If they try to push out towards short, it's Henny watching for that. Unfortunately, he does miss the players evacuating from the connector there, so not going to be able to hit a shot on that, and now they're going to end up funneling through. Gets flashed, so he'll miss the shot, the initial shot from the op, but thankfully for him, most of CLG is also going to be smoked off too, so they're a little bit cautious to actually push through on the bathrooms, and this is turning into a slight trap if they decide to go through with this one. Kusta, Mac 10, doing some decent damage over to Henny, of course, which will send him back a bit further towards Semi. Now leaving an FNX to really fight for his zone on the close-up position, but the rest of their team now realizing just how heavy the presence is over here on short A, they're going to take a long route instead. But no, maybe not. Canceling on that, they go back down through the bathroom connector and do group up to push in through the bathrooms themselves. Well, just having FNS to push in, and the long route might have been the better one, as right now it's only a 3-on-2 trade. CLG getting 2 of those just off the hands of Cutler, but now FNS chimes in, so down to a 2v2. Only 20 seconds remain, however, but FNS is going to continue to play aggressively up close against this smoke, spreading wildly with the AK, but while reloading, loses himself, recovers in time to pick up 1 more kill, but did not expect Steel to also come out from the bank, and that's what throws the round. Immortals are going to win it out, and they get a free op in the process, as they'll pick themselves up towards 13.
I think that's fine for CLG. Killing 4 people, yes, they lose the round, it's going to be 13-6, but if CLG wins this, it'll be 13-7, Immortals will be saving. They could probably get it to 13-9. Before Immortals buys again, you know, fully. So that's a good round to lose. You know, you lost the round in the right way. You just need to win the important round, which is this one.
And in that important round, we can already see the effects of the diminished economy looking at what Immortals have brought into it. Lucas going down to a UMP, Bolts on a FAMAS, FNX getting basically 0 utility to play off of here. So CLG do have the penultimate advantage going in terms of the economy here. Now they have to push into the site and actually execute upon it. And Henny, well, he's going to look to challenge over here in the up tunnel. And oh, it looks like he had the shot, but just barely misses it out. So missed opportunity, but he does spot play over here towards short A. And Bolts catches that first kill down very low, however, and retreating to the pit, loses himself in the trade. Henny picking up 1 more. FNS also kind of losing himself there, scared out by Lucas, who swings out from the connector. Now this is put into a 4v2. CLG didn't even really get great control over this site, so both Cutler and Kusa are going to go down without any more trades. It's a team ace for the Immortals as they pick up their 14th round. Yeah,
I mean, they had everybody there. They went for a aggro play on Henny at Sewers. They had player and connector. They both spots him out. The rotates there so quickly, and you see what I mean. A team ace, right? On a full B, you know, a B burst basically. Where they're going to walk out long B with 1 player going short. I mean, they're attacking the site within 20 seconds of the round, right? And a team ace happens from Immortals, so just a great rotate by them.
So CLG, desperate times, calling for desperate measures. Possibly they're just going to buy up into this one as much as they can with upgraded pistols and armor, and a little bit of utility as well. Swinging out fast towards A long. But I think Immortals already reading into this. They're definitely hearing the pressure up towards the A route there. As they pull their short players back in the event they do this and sort of swing back down and try to play close contest there. And he's going to be waiting now with the op to watch out for that long presence, along with the short play too, just jumping up onto the dice box to pay attention to that. And he sees even going for the peek and is going to punish.
When are people going to stop juggle peeking, Henny? When are you going to stop? You're killing me.
Well, Ethan will kill himself there in that peek. Lucas as well, catching another one. Henny finding an additional frag here. Lucas just being able to clean up shop here as he finds his, I believe it's actually only his second on the round. I thought it was his third. But still, Immortals, they went out the round. Now they're up on 15. And it is looking like this could turn into a pretty quick closeout unless CLG make magic happen with this next force up.
Yeah, and they have not been successful at all with their force buys, though. They almost never win these Deagle and Tech 9. I don't think they've won one yet, and they've had a lot of them. I mean, they're like, we're talking about like, they're like 0 for 8, 0 for 9 on them.
Yeah. It's been, especially the full egos too. The full egos have just accomplished nothing. So early on, sending just another 2-2-1 split across the map here. Two guys moving in to take connector control. Two guys very slowly pushing out towards Fountain, and we'll regroup with the connector guys when they kind of get the all clear signal. And then there's just the one guy to watch out for additional B pressure. But interestingly, he's also the bomb carrier, so more than likely, if they follow through off of their current positioning, we'll just see their players dive back down through the connector and try to split push into B. But there's already a 3-man stack waiting from within the B bomb site there to be able to attempt to counter that back out. That is going to change a little bit, though, because of the short A pressure. You can see that guy rotating back up through the tunnels now is actually going to find himself on A. So it is only 2, but they are set up to counter out this type of a push. Bolt's just watching close to his teammate Steel over there for that construction pressure, along with Steel being the one to catch out any of the monster pushes himself. So let's see how successful CLG will be upon this. Husta and the others, I imagine, are setting up for their smokes now to block this back off. We've even seen Lucas rotate back down.
It's important.
So they'll have that backup in the event one of these two angles ends up failing out. Lucas can fully commit himself to watching for construction, and now it begins, and it begins to fall apart very quickly. 4 and 5, and it is going to be the Immortals that take map number 2, just like the last one in dominating fashion, 16-8 over on Inferno, and here they take it 16-6.
And, you know, COG, they did have their opportunities, though. As we said, they won, what was it, 3 out of 4 pistols?
Yeah.
So 3 out of 4 pistols, they got counter-ecoed on 2 of them. That's a big swing. You know, that happened on Inferno and here. They had that opportunity on that after that 4th round when they got those 4 kills. They needed to win that counter round. If they won that counter round, we could have saw it a lot closer. And if they didn't lose that anti-eco, we could have saw a much closer game. But just those like 2 rounds, I mean, that's a giant swing. That's 5-6 rounds difference, right?
Yep.
So COG failing to come together at those important moments, you know, results in like a crushing defeat like this. All
right, well, let's bring the analysts back into the conversation and get their thoughts on this, you know, seemingly diminished CLG after what was a pretty successful LAN over at Starlighter last weekend.
I usually use the term Groundhog Day to talk about coming around here, but I want to talk about what just happened with CLG twice in a row.
Yeah, it did feel a bit like Groundhog Day. So you start off great, you win pistol, everything's looking dandy, and then that dreaded anti-eco comes looming around the corner, and you lose, you know, what potentially could have been a great start to your match. And very similar story, honestly, as to what we saw in Inferno. Just, you know, different side this time around. So actually, that kind of makes it worse in terms of your economy as well. And even when they had the opportunities to actually do things, you know, they didn't quite pan it out. And this is round 10 right here, where CLG end up in a situation where they have a 2-minute advantage initially. Cutler goes down. That's okay. He's in low HP. Not the end of the world. You still have a man advantage. At this point, they're down to a 2v4 situation. You have the bomb on site as well if you're CLG. So there's no way you should be losing this round. Kusta goes out to peek and unnecessarily gets taken down, and for some reason Ricky decides to like follow up on that. I guess, you know, when you're in a team, you commit to stuff together, I guess. That's pretty much the only logical reasoning for it, I guess.
Well, if you die, I'm going to die too. It's
yeah, exactly. You know, ride together, die together. That's the CLG motto. But in the end of it, it ends up with a 1v1 situation that Bolts clutches out in the after plant. But, you know, you're not supposed to lose a 2v4 situations, and you can't afford to do it as well when you've gotten off to that bad of a start as CLG did.
I mean, just how detrimental is that eco, though? Because that's really what we can kind of stem this thing back to. Just how big of a curse did that put on CLG? in terms of momentum, in terms of footing, anything across the rest of the map.
Well, I think you kind of, already paint the picture pretty nicely, because they end up in a situation where they're down, like 10-1, etc. because of that one eco. And it doesn't really help that on Overpass, CLG they seem to prefer to go to double op setups, which is extremely heavy on your economy as well. So if you don't get off to that good start, you're pretty much banking 2 full rounds on that double op buy working. And if it doesn't, you're just going to have to give up so many rounds to Immortals for basically free, because you can't constantly reinvest into your rounds over and over again. Just from the get-go, I'm not really sure if I agree with the decision to go for a double op setup on a map like Overpass. Sure, you have venues for it. Obviously, towards A, you can play aggressively, and towards Monster on B, but we saw multiple times that the retakes became so much tougher for CLG because they had 2 ops in their hands.
Well, also, I mean, we touched on this on Inferno. Immortals has no problem whatsoever just pretty much putting all in on a site and getting really aggressive and swarming. That swarm mentality really does pay off against a team like CLG.
Yeah, and I was actually kind of surprised because normally the way they lose that anti-eco round as well to start off the game, normally you see CTs lose that because they're too aggressive on the CT side. In this scenario, CLG were actually too passive. So Cutler gets caught off on site by Lucas, and they haven't set up any sort of crossfires where they can actually trade for each other and so on. And a team, like you said, we saw that on Inferno as well. When Immortals just gained that tiny bit of ground, they're going to pounce on it with their entire team. It's not just one guy running up on side. It's going to be 3 to 4 people. And if they have armored Tech 9s, that's going to be super difficult to stop when you have limited utility.
100%. In case you did just miss these 2 best of ones, this doubleheader, head over to youtube.com/ESLCS where you can find this VOD and many more. All the VODs are there. It's huge. It's huge.
Bigly.
It's big league. It is definitely that. Look, we're going to be going into SK and Liquid after this break. A sure-fired bout of Titans almost. But a big one nonetheless. So we'll be right back after this break.